Hey there, everybody. So I think I'm going to make this into like a little mini series, how to recognize that you're in a cult, or how to recognize a cult in general, other cults too. And I think when we thought of the word cult, we think of like the creepy rituals and, like satanic cult, like everything is creepy and secret society. So at first, when I first heard that word floated, like you're in a cult, I'm like, no, we're in a religion, we're not in a cult, we don't have all these weird things. And I actually went on Google and I typed in, how to recognize a cult, and there's several things. And at first, some of the points that it makes, you're thinking like, yeah, well, see, like that's not us, we don't do that. And one of those things was actually cults have secret meetings and secret rituals, and I'm like, see, we don't do that. And then I sat there for a second and I thought, actually, Jehovah's Witnesses do have secret meetings and, so to speak, rituals, because it was a little bit of a red flag for me, just really little, just one of those things that you think that's kind of weird. The year I pioneered for 1 year. It was so hard for all you guys who did it for a long time. It was so hard. And I always wanted to be really honest with counting my hours and all that. And I was barely making it. And I was just sick all the time because I was so exhausted. And I was grateful when I was sick because I thought, man, I need like some rest time, because I was working full time and then driving to foreign language and pioneering. And what an ungrateful job, because I did not feel appreciated. I felt more unappreciated pioneering than the opposite. I really did. But one of the things that they said was, just pioneer for 1 year. Just try to do it for 1 year. You guys have all heard this at meetings, so that's what they'll say. And so I'm like, you know what? Okay, I'll do it 1 year. What's 1 year? I'll try to do it. And then we had pioneer meeting, pioneer school. So at the time it was still 2 weeks, because thank goodness they changed it, I think, to 1 week now, because in countries where you have to work, how in the world are you going to take 2 weeks off? But in a cult, you'll make it work. You'll work your tail off for the cult and not think twice about it. So I had to take 2 unpaid weeks off of vacation, which was pretty brutal to do that. And I'm sitting in pioneer school, and my first impression is I was kind of seeing a brother at the time. He was honestly kind of shady, but he had this like kind of shady, I would describe the brother that I was seeing as a liar. And it was so weird because I kept thinking, this guy like lies all the time, but we're witnesses, And he had a buddy who he always hung out with. So those two were always together. And I knew that the buddy had a girlfriend, like long-time girlfriend. And I'm first day in pioneer school. I'm turning around and there's, let's call him Rex. I thought, whoa, Rex is at pioneer school? Like, wait. Rex is a pioneer, because these two were like the furthest from pioneer people ever. Like, honestly, I would kind of say probably a little bit partiers, but Rex more so than the guy I was seeing, his buddy. And I'm just like shocked to see this dude at pioneer school. I'm like, whoa, I didn't know that. And he nestles himself in the last row, and I'm not even kidding. He sleeps the entire 2 weeks. He slept the whole time. And on the last day, he gives one comment. And I'm just like, wow, this is so typical. And then he says to me one day, because he was kind of like, those mischievous kind of guys, kind of always up to something. He's not paying attention. He's not to me, like, I was like, oh, okay. I mean, I was buddies with him, but I'm just, like, shocked seeing him pioneering. I'm like, okay. And he goes to me, hey, how about you and me? We go out tonight, for grab a bite to eat. And I'm like, yeah, I think that you have a girlfriend. And he goes, what are you talking about? And I'm like, I know her. And he's trying to, like, completely pretend like he doesn't have a girlfriend, which was so sucky. I'm like, really, dude? That's really low. I mean, you guys have been dating for a long time. But they were also in this, like, circle of friends that we had that one mutual friends, but there was a whole bunch of group of people who would party together. And I later found out that they were doing pretty bad things. Talk about that in another episode. But anyways, so I'm sitting at Pioneer School with my shady, quote unquote, buddy, and I'm starting to get this feeling of, okay, we were supposed to do this for like a year, but the guilt tripping is really starting not to quit pioneering and not to, you're so special, and do you really want to leave the ranks of a pioneer? And that felt weird to me because it almost felt like a sales pitch to get people to do it for 1 year and then to try to keep them doing it. And I already knew I couldn't do it anymore. Like, I was exhausted. I knew I could not make my hours after this. Like, there was no way I could keep it up, and I already knew. But the guilt is so real. And then they kind of try to pretend like you're so special. Do you really want to give up being that special? And that felt very weird to me too. But also, and this was not on my radar prior to pioneering, but I didn't really realize that it's kind of like this secret special pioneer school. Like, you're so special, you're at pioneer school, and you get pampered, with food and I'm sure now they have trinkets. We didn't really have that, but all these poor brothers and sisters have to provide food because it's never the society that does it. It's the local brothers. And then you get a book, and the book is given to you under the shroud of secrecy. This is your book, and you're so special because now you're a pioneer, and you cannot let anybody else see this book because it's so special. And that felt weird to me too, because I thought, we all have the Bible, why do we get this book now? And what is so different about this book than any other book? And there isn't. Like, spoiler, there isn't. It's nothing special about this pioneer book. But how they laid it on thick for 2 weeks, how this is such a secret, special thing. And I think it's meant to make people feel like, ooh, look, you belong to this secret club. And so when I read about the signs of a cult, I thought, dang, we do have secret meetings and secret, that elders meetings, pioneers meeting, Bethel, who all these different secret little societies and titles to help people, feel special, and most of them made up because governing body members feel ultra special, made up title. Pioneers, made up title. So the list could go on, but basically, yes, sign of a cult. We have secret meetings, and we do. Now, I don't really know what ritual we could say is a secret ritual, but the secret meeting is plenty enough, so we'll check that little box. Marks of a cult, secret meetings, secret books, secrets to keep as pioneers. Yep, we got that one. So let's look at the next mark of a cult. I have to add a little PS at the end of this episode because I just re-listened to it and there's a few things I want to add. Obviously, I tell stories, so sometimes I get sidetracked when I'm telling a story. So no, the story of Rex at Pioneer School really didn't have anything to do with the overall topic. It's just a part of my personal experience of Pioneer School. And I have to add too, it's just kind of like this little bit of cognitive dissonance because like this kid is leading a double life and he's being so shady, and yet at the same time he's pioneering, and you're thinking, like, I don't really know what's going on here, but I'm like shocked to see this kid here at school, and then also at Pioneer School not acting like a pioneer at all. And not only did he ask me to go out with him at night and had a girlfriend, I was dating his friend. So that was just like, I couldn't even believe it. I'm here at Pioneer School trying to like make myself a better Christian and doing all the stuff for God, and that happens. And so it's just like, I do think it's all those little things that contribute in the end, like seeing how Jehovah's Witnesses are. I'm pretty sure he's still a Jehovah's Witness. He was very close to his parents, who were, of course, pioneer elder. And so he kind of has to live that double life, I guess. But all those little things contribute to you waking up. I really believe that. And then the other thing I want to add to this secret meeting, special rites thing, you've seen this. There was 2 instances where, to me, I did it. I was in foreign language. I thought, like, this is a really like good thing to help yourself or to help others to, grow as a spiritual person. But at the same time, we're always really encouraged to pioneer. And I found that so much more in America because in Europe, all these young people, it's impossible to get your hours in like that. Service is so hard. So we didn't have as many pioneers in the youth. I feel like we maybe had like 1 pioneer per congregation. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be rude, but I was usually like a weirdo person who loved to pioneer and all that. And then she would give all the comments and be on stage all the time. But in general, it was much more so in the States with the young ones pioneering. And also, I was reproved privately. And like the guilt trip they lay on you and how you can redeem yourself to God, that you're going in service more. You're always trying to rectify the wrong that you did. Meanwhile, if you believe in the Bible, Jesus died for your sins. Why do you have to rectify your mistakes as a young person by preaching more and counting hours? Really, if I think about it now, that doesn't even really make sense at all. But I did believe that, like, I really wanted to rectify it and work harder and please God. I really wanted to do what was right. But there's 2 instances that I saw where it was kind of weird to me because it seemed just very title oriented. And one of them was one of my friends, her mom. She's a sweet lady, but she's pioneered for like 35 years. Pioneered with a little kid, pioneered with grandbabies who she watched. She just always pioneered. And it was like a streak for her. Like, I've pioneered 35 years, 36 years. And then she got severely ill with MS. And I heard them talk about how, basically, in a nutshell, she didn't want to quit pioneering, not even for a year, even though now she had MS, even though now her kid just got divorced and moved back home with her kids, even though her mother was elderly and about to pass away, she didn't want to stop pioneering for the streak. And you get so recruited into this, you're special as a pioneer. And she was a good person. I'm not saying she wasn't. It's just, it makes you feel special when you're a part of it. You're special of this secret club. And so when the J-Dubs tell you, we have meetings that are open to the public, what a bunch of baloney that is. Yes, you have meetings that are open to the public, but can I attend an elders meeting? Can I show up at Pioneer Schooling unannounced? No, you do have secret meetings. You have to have special invitation. And even the people that host those meetings, that cook and stuff, they have to be of some kind of rank and title and, in good standing. It can't be some rando from the hall. So come on, let's get real. And then the second one was, we had a newlywed young sister in our hall. Really, really sweet girl. And notice here,
a lot of Jehovah's Witness women have autoimmune diseases from all the stress, the cognitive dissonance. So this girl, she had just gotten married, beautiful couple, and she came down with, I think it's lupus, where they have the butterfly rash on the nose. She came down with lupus and she was sick. So she had to step down from pioneering. And I gave her like a pep talk. I'm like, it's not about that. Like, Jehovah knows, you're such a good person. Don't worry about it. But then they announce publicly, she's no longer a pioneer. And like the shame, you have to feel guilty and shame. And here you're sick with lupus and you have to sit in the audience enduring that. And she bawled her eyes out, and like all the pioneers came and hugged her after. And it really felt like she was crying because she wasn't a part of that circle now anymore, and she couldn't be. And I'm like, this is so weird. So, yep, secret meetings. Yes, we have them. They're there to make you feel special in a cult. So